Good afternoon. This is Melissa with thestockswitch.com, and today I'm here to go over a trade I did today in Pwrd. It is March 12th, and boy, talk about conviction. Really never give up on this the entire day. And would you believe that I got out of this trade at 3:57? And by the way, this is lower today. I mean tomorrow. You know, did not play out the exact way that I wanted it to in reference to opening in the morning, dropping, and go. I saw what it did, though, this morning first thing. We'll go over it. Here, this is what it did. Hold on. Wait, let me bring up the daily. Really difficult to see right now, but this opened this morning right here. 1 penny under this bottoming tail right here from the 7 and ran up. And I took it into a setup. And I'll go and show you in the 1-minute chart. And it held $11 into the first run up. So I put my stop over 11. It was very spready and very jumpy. I wouldn't even say whippy. This wasn't whippy today. It was like jumpy, like it was spacey. It reminded me of like when you see those little bugs, like where you see them in the grass, like you'll see a bug and then all of a sudden it'll jump up in the air and then it'll land on a different spot. And it happened so fast you missed it jumping. Like that's what it looked like, a jumping beetle or something. Like it wasn't even whippy. Like you'd be in the trade and down or up money, and then all of a sudden, boop, and then all of a sudden you'd see a candle at a different price point. I mean, that was just weird. I know I've traded this before, but I didn't remember it being so scattery. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I liked it, so I stuck with it. I had 100% conviction in this today as a short. Despite the rally first thing up this morning, which, by the way, held at the time it was supposed to, at the maximum time of the day it was supposed to, it held. And then that trade got stopped out, and I reshorted it. And I'll go and show you what I did. And incredibly, this ran up. The bottom of this tail is 11 and a half, and the top of this tail is 11.14. Remember, these are numbers. And in fact, I'm sure 11.14 is somewhere in here. We're pretty darn close to it. You know, but this was the bar. This was the bar over here. There. Close, it was 11.11 here. And this bottom of this bar is 11.11 here. So it went 3 pennies over this. That's it. That's all that it did. And it settled itself down then finally. And it was thin in the morning too. It was thin. And I was in it. But I knew it would trade volume on the day. What did this do today? Yeah, almost 2 million. So that's fine. I never gave up on it. I played it very hard though in the first trade. And then when that got stopped out and I went back in, I was like, And you know, I am so proud of myself for never giving up in this thing. I typically do not like 2 green bars in the 15 minutes chart in the first half hour of the day. But this bar, this green bar, did not continue to go over the high of this bar and didn't continue up green. It settled itself down here, and then this was the next pop. It went up to 11.14, went over the high of the day by 3 pennies. And then I knew it was going to be okay. I mean, I really knew that it was going to be okay. Did not break the low of the day into the first drop. I actually got out. And I actually got out at 11.80 because I said, you know what? If this doesn't break the low, I'm going to book something in here because I was in it at a nice price up here and got out there. I got out at 80, reshorted it. As soon as it ran up here and held, then 85 was a number, 84. I reshorted some in here. I added then on the break here under 74 and 73 on the 15 and the 30 and the 60. And I was in this till the end of the day, till 3:57. 3:55. Wait, let me show you the beginning of the day first. Oh, wait a minute. Let's look at the targets. Here, that was the target I was looking at this morning, 10.50. And then in here, 10.40. And then in here, 10.30. And then really I thought $10. And this morning I thought $9 for this thing, $9.59. It will get there. Actually, this is a good swing short. Right here. This is a good swing short right here that you could do right here. Right here. So the reality is that this is gonna gap down probably tomorrow. I bet this gaps down tomorrow. Yeah. So, you know, it just took a while to get underway, and I have no idea why, and who cares why? It doesn't matter. You have to play it as you see it as it comes. Here was the morning. Let me go show you this, and then I'll show you what I did with the afternoon. Boy, did I have conviction this today. Boy, did I really play this today with all the conviction I had in the world. Everything the market was doing, then running up at one point, stuck with it, stuck with it, stuck with it. So here I was in this first trade here. On second analysis, this green bar here was really too big. You know, it's 40 cents. It was really almost in danger of being a reverse swoosh. I didn't read it that way, so I took the trade. I don't really think it was with a 40 cents up, but I guess ultimately looking back, it really was. It really was, because otherwise it would have fixed itself and set itself up right in here where I got in the first trade, and it didn't do it. Then it ran up to here to 11.14, and then I got back in here at 92. The reality is that the gap was still good. This was very jumpy here and kind of thin. It wasn't too thin for me to trade it, but thinner than it should have been, considering it was a gap play by this time of the day. By even 9:45, it was almost too thin. This really held itself finally then at like 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. If it had continued at all, like one more 5-minute period into 10:15, I would have said, just forget this thing. But it didn't. And then it continued. And then I really knew it was good as soon as this drop happened here, which happened in the 5-minute. It happened out of nowhere. Like, it almost happened too soon to even get full in it at the price exactly that I wanted. I did say back under 11 again. Back under 11 again. I tell people that gave up on it, they could have done it. Saw the spacing here, and then in the 5, thought it would break down. I said, I'm going to put my stop over here. And then it finally stayed in here. I said, I'm going to put my stop over 81. It did, but you know what? The real stop should have been over 85, and it never violated it, and would have been in the original next trade then if I'd stayed in through the whole thing, and maybe would have added to that. I'm not sure. But as it turns out, I got right back into it. I got right back into it. So I got out with profit on this one then, and then I got right back into it here. On this reversal, as soon as it did topping tail, I got right back into it because I knew it held a number and I liked it, and then I retested it again, and then I took more. So then I was in this, and around 3:55, I was sitting. I said, "Geez, Louise, you know, I gotta look at this clock." I was doing other stuff. I was looking at my email. After this, I said, I'm putting the stop over 68, and if it takes me out, it takes me out into a bounce. But it never did. The market was rallying then since I think 2:30, and this was holding. And I still thought I was going to drop. And sometimes things just go hard into the close. They just do. But you have to be careful. You got to make sure you can get out of the trade. So I literally was considering taking it off at 3:55. I said I'm going to get out 2 minutes before the close. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that, by the way. I did that today. It worked out beautifully, but I don't usually trade in the afternoon. I was up money this thing, and I just held it through. I had my stop tight the whole way down. I liked it. I had a lot of conviction. I was waiting for the break and the drop, and actually somewhere around this 15-minute, when the market was running down into the afternoon, and this was just hanging on here and couldn't break the low of the day, I said to myself 1050 then was going to be the target. I really said to myself, if this breaks even 1050, I'm getting out of the whole thing. I did say that to myself, so I didn't think it would happen right in the close, but then it did. It did, and do you know that I did not get out of this thing at 55 when I was considering doing it? And all of a sudden it broke out of nowhere here at 356. I got out at the low of this bar. I took my trade out at 1052. I got out 1 penny from the low of the day. The first trade in this was valid because it held 11. You know, it should have opened and broke, and I did write that down. In fact, what did I write? Open and go immediately red, show weakness ASAP. It didn't do that, and I took the short into the rally in the first trade. You know, but I liked the gap. But then I did get back into it, and then I did hold it down, and then I did get back into it in the afternoon and hold it down. I could have held the original second trade, but I ended up taking off the profits and then doing another one. But, you know, I had so much conviction in this to work and go. It was never a long. I knew it was a short. It wasn't breaking hard at different times in the market was, but then when the market rallied, then this wasn't rallying. This thing was on its own today, 100% on its own. It's still lower. And really the swing trade target is $9. And this is probably going to gap down today. If I played overnights, which I don't, I'd still be in some of this because it's going to gap into tomorrow morning, 100%. It broke just right before the close. Look at that. I mean, it just ran out of day. That was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful short today with a very aggressive play by me. And it was based on the gap analysis I did in the morning that I stuck with it. It got 22 points. So, you know, it wasn't the best rated thing in the world, but I liked it. And I had 100% conviction in it to work. The setup wasn't perfect in the morning, the way it opened and rallied into this tail. But as it turns out, okay, the numbers were. The actual way that the bars transitioned themselves did not look pretty, okay? But the actual numbers did. The more and more and more I trade, I realize that if you just rely on certain things, you're not gonna do as well as if you look at the overall picture. The reality is you have to look at the overall picture, and I think more important than anything else is numbers. Why? Because we are trading in an environment as traders with machines and black boxes. It's not going away. It's been there for years and it's not going away. And I can tell when something's being traded like that. I actually could tell that today by the jumpiness of this thing. And I'm familiar with trading stocks like that. I'm aware of it. But it's almost like you have to take the whole thing about the setups out of the equation. I mean, you can use them, but it's almost like you really just got to trade with the numbers. Like, if I could just get to the point where I could trade on 100% on numbers and nothing else, you know, wow, you know, that would be a great place to be. And I'm working on it. I mean, I'm getting better every day on doing that. And I saw it today. I saw it. And so I never gave up on it. It didn't do anything wrong. It just looked like a piece of crap until about 10:05. And the reality was the gap was good. So therefore it worked. All right. It worked. And I stuck with it and I had 100% conviction. I got paid on this today. So this is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com. Tomorrow is a trading room open house. If you're interested, you can come. It's called the Stock Swoosh Show. That's the room that's now the name for my trading room. I've called it the Stock Swoosh Show. It's going to be the 13th, 14th, and 15th from 8 a.m. to noon if you'd like to come. And I'm also doing a lecture tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Which you can come, feel free to see and stop by. The information is on my Facebook and YouTube page at the Stock Swoosh. And feel free to ask me any questions about the trading room or my gap class and how I figure out how to rate these gaps. My next gap class is actually, I'm doing another one this month because I had so many people that were interested that missed the one last weekend. So I added another special class for the month of March 23rd and 24th. Please feel free to contact me with questions. And if you're interested in signing up for the gap class where I teach how to rate these gaps, and I teach at 26 points. My number is, or my information is melissa at thestockswoosh.com. And if you're interested, then definitely email me. And if you're interested in being in the room this week, then go to the Facebook page for the link. The password is swoosh. And there's a number on there. If you have issues with support, you can call the Hotcom people and they will help you get in the room. So this is PWRD. This is Melissa with thestockswoosh.com. And I had really ended up trading today with conviction and it paid me. And I'm so proud of myself. And, you know, this is everything that I teach. If you have conviction in every trade you take, you're going to be a winner. You're going to make money in the market, 100%. So have a great night, everyone, and see you tomorrow.